Here we are back with Bedroom Talk with Dwayne and Becky. Um, Tonight we're talking about Proposition 51, and this is about school bonds, funding for K 12 school and community college facilities initiative statute. Now, keyword for me here is always bonds.
Which means
They want money.
we're borrowing money.
Mhm.
In this case, we're borrowing nine
9 billion.
billion with a B, and it's going to cost us 8.6 billion in interest to pay it back. So when they say a $9 billion bond, it's actually 17.6 billion dollars. Uh,
Oh boy.
every time we have an election, there's a proposition that's for the schools, and it's one of those favorite things. It's for the children, and it gets votes. Uh, so this is to improve K-12 facilities and to improve
The college.
the
This is the
community
first I've
colleges.
ever heard of community colleges.
So you've driven around town. How are they doing?
Oh my goodness.
Then they're in disrepair.
They're putting in solar panels. They've upgraded their football fields, and
Yeah,
just this last year, so much money looks like has been poured into our local schools.
Yeah, I don't. That may not be that way across the state, but around here, the all of the high schools have had improvements. Just a few years ago, they redid all their air conditioning and such with another grant from the government. Now they have new signs that are, you know,
Marquees
marquees to tell you all
signs.
these things, and like you said, they redid the stadiums, and they built new buildings at both of the community colleges that are local. They don't seem to be struggling with disrepair. And like I said, that may not be true elsewhere. My general feeling is with a bond, you're borrowing a bunch of money. In our household, we go, if you want it, save your money. And when you have the money, then you buy it. It makes you be really careful with your money. Whereas if you can just borrow it, you spend more frivolously. And the idea that it's for our children, it improves their facilities. Their facilities around here are pretty good. I went to the schools back when they didn't have air conditioning, they didn't have carpets, and
You learned just fine.
I did okay. My
You
parents,
can read, write, and do arithmetic.
my dad went to school in a tent in Long Beach, so because they had an earthquake and they couldn't build right away. So I don't think there's a need for it. It's just that every year they put out a proposition because it's an opportunity to get money, and for some reason everybody thinks that the schools is a good place to give it. You do have to understand what happens when you pass a bond, because what you're doing is you're saying we're going to take this money and we're going to spend it on this pet project, and then the general fund has to pay that back. And so what you've done is you've taken what was discretionary money for the legislature to determine how it's spent and locked it up and says it has to be spent on this. I used to go to the school board meetings and watch what they were talking about. One of the issues they struggled with is they had so many special projects come through that they would say, well, if we'll do this, the state will give us $2 million, but we have to do $2 million matching funds. And then they go, if we do this one, the state will give us $2 million, but we have to do $2 million matching. Pretty soon, if they had an emergency or some other thing came up, they had no discretionary money because they kept locking it up in all these special programs. So that's something to be cautious of if it comes to the legislature and they've locked up all their money with all this. It's already uh, assigned to something, and they need more money. Their choice is raise your taxes, and they will, because that's how they're going to. This doesn't necessarily mean your taxes are raised, but it means that they can't choose where stuff's spent because it's already allocated to this. So I hope that helps. My advice is No. They're spending money, and unless there's a real need, no. You can save your money just like the rest of us. So, let us know what you think. Good talking with you. See you next time.